For the sake of this tutorial, I'm expecting that you are already familiar with the tool, and if not, then please do write to me and I will try to put another video together to kind of get you familiarized with the interface of Rapidminer. And with that said, let's get started. So the first step we need to do with Twitter authentication or OAuth is to pass in the consumer key and consumer secret over over to the Twitter and receive the bearer token that we can use on behalf of the consumer or app key that we just passed in. So I'm hoping that you already know how to create an app at apps.twitter.com, and once you have the app you will be able to see the consumer key, consumer secret, and all this information. So in order to get started, let's pull our this operator first, and that operator is actually generate data. So just to kind of show you, I already have it created here, the process, because I wanted to actually do it faster. And come on. Yeah. Sorry, sometimes it just the mouse. So this is our operator, and what we need to pass into this operator in order to get started is the consumer key. And here we will post that consumer key from Twitter. Then we need to send over the consumer secret and the value in here, and that will be all. So basically we are generating two attributes called consumer key or consumer secret. For my sake, I'm calling them for this process as username or password, with key being username and password being the secret. And the next operator I need is loop or attributes. So again, I could just type in this operator section loop attributes, and the same way we will be able to kind of feed this data into this one. And what we are doing in here, let me just show you, is select attributes. So we are as I just said, that I'm naming them as username or password for my process. You can name it however you want, and that's what it's going to iterate over. And as you can see, the iteration macro or iteration variable is called loop attribute, and that will be used inside this process called encode URLs, because as per Twitter specs we need to encode the URL that's being sent to that. So it must be in the percentage ASCII, that encoding. So that's what's happening here. And next step is we are generating another token out of this username or password, or you can call it consumer key and consumer secret. And the attribute that we need to generate as per again Twitter specs is a string with the consumer key colon consumer secret, and that will be our attribute called token. Then now further, I don't need all the consumer key and secret going along with the token. I will just filter and pick one attribute to be fed into this script. And the reason I have to kind of do a little bit of scripting in here is because Twitter requires the data consumer key and secret to be highly confidential, and with that said, we have to base 64 encode um, the the token that we have just created. So what I'm doing in this execute seek come on yeah so with this execute script operator is I will be uh, doing encode base 64, and that's all this script is doing. Now this whole set so far, let me just delete what I do not need. So yeah, so this whole set of operator up to here, we have base encoded the token to base 64, and the next step would be to make an HTTP post call to get the bearer token. And here this save request, and that's not an actual operator, it's called the sub process. So kind of combine few steps into one. We have this sub process operator, this one in here, to kind of show you. And what this is doing is we are feeding the token as an example set into this. Again, you can rename it how if you want to, or you can just keep it as a process. For my sake, I have renamed it to save request token, and let's just using this rename, or I'm deleting it because I have already here. Let's go inside and see. So here I am extracting a macro, and what that means is I will be generating another token or another variable called token 64-bit using the attribute token. So whatever the value of token is, I will be assigning that variable, that value to the variable called token 64-bit. And the reason to do that is because this get page operator in Rapidminer, it doesn't have an input. So we need to pass the token to the HTTP GET request in order for Twitter to authenticate us. So in order to do that, I have generated this variable that will be visible in this whole scope. And let's look at the operator. So that's the endpoint that Twitter puts in its API documentation, OAuth2/token, and change it to post. Although it says get page, but we are doing a post request. Query parameters, that's the value given by Twitter, so we have to set it to grant type client credentials, and we need to set two headers, authorization with basic and the value that environment that variable we just generated using the macro. And second thing is the content type that Twitter requires. So once that is done, the HTTP request will be able to fetch the bearer token or the access token out. And what I'm doing here is, so the part from here onwards, these both operators are just to help me to be able to save the bearer token for further use for mining. And the reason I'm doing that is because as per Twitter, it's the API requests are rate limited, and what that means is there is a certain number of times, and currently it's 180, so you could only make 180 requests. So if you are thinking of doing a lot of tweet collection or mining, then you'll be exhausting the rate limit. So to avoid that, what I have done is I have saved this bearer token in a file, and for the second section of actually pulling those tweets, I will be using that file, and I could use that file as many times as I want unless the token is expired, in which case I have to redo the request. So I have, once we achieve to this point, let's just run it, and we will get our access token, and that's my access token. I have invalidated it, so don't try to copy it. So once we have all this figured out, I have now saved the file here, this file, into bearertoken.txt, or we can name XML, it doesn't matter as long as the format says that. So now the first part is done. Let's look at how can we actually pull those tweets and do something on top of that data collected. So as I just mentioned that we have saved the file as bearertoken.txt, let's just feed that into this read XML operator and pull out the extract macro. Again, we need to extract the extract the variable bearer token out, and the value would be, and that's kind of the XPath expression for this XML. So if we see here, that's what the token is, or the column in the example set is. So now we have this bearer token variable visible across this environment or this current scope. Let's make the get page request, and that's the endpoint as per Twitter. It's a get request. Query parameters would be Q is the term that you want to search for. Count is 100 by default. We can make it less, but if I put count or not, it doesn't matter right now because the max you can get in one call is 100. So that's with that said, again converting JSON response from Twitter into XML, further breaking that XML down because the XML you receive is an array of 100 objects. So let's break that into a collection, and on each collection we will be doing, let's just remove this. So we are writing a document again because read XML expects a file input. So this file will be generated in the memory, it's not saved anywhere. Then we have this, once we read this, so with read XML what I'm doing is I'm pulling out the relevant or the fields of interest. So for me, I need these three: text, the actual tweet, created at what time, or username. So with that one, and then I could rename because it looks kind of ugly to have these as column names. And the next step I'm going to do is to convert this example set as a document, because cut document expects a document to be fed as an output. So once we have that, again we need to convert the data as an example set as an output. I prefer, so again documents to data operator that can be searched in here, this operator. Then we do an append to kind of merge the whole collection into a single one, and let me run it. So here we have the tweets, and you can see we got 100 tweets. So with that said, and just to show you the cut document, what it gave was this kind of, you see, though that's the collection object that we have received. Then I have merged all of those and to generate this final output as this. And the Twitter response actually that I received was this statuses, and then further, and as you can see, it's an array here, array of objects with all this data. So I have pulled all that information, and I hope we can do further mining on this text or feed data that I just received, maybe sentiment analysis. So I'm still thinking what I should do as a next step, and I hope to post that video also in continuation with this video that I am just posting for the Twitter fetching Twitter feeds. And I hope to do that before the next match between USA and Germany on 26th of June. And if I receive enough subscription or enough views for this video, then I hope to post that video online before 26th of June, so that we all can do our own kind of text mining. If we, whatever use case we want to see, whatever processing we want to listen or we want to see actually in at our own pace, at our own laptops, or I could post the results also at my website, and that would be aziSolutions.com. And I will be posting this code for this Rapidminer online at GitHub, and the link will be posted also under the YouTube video. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to have another video out soon.